If you're familiar with the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, then you can't forget about the gentleman in the episode Hush. Some villainous figures remain iconic throughout history. While some take to loud killings and bloodbaths, others can simply kill you with a smile. And that's exactly what makes the gentleman unique. If silence could kill had a face, then this would surely be it. The eerie silence of the gentleman helps in creating an atmosphere filled with suspense. In this episode of Marvellous Videos, we will explore the origins, know about the goals and powers, and the overall personality of the gentleman. It's gonna get creepy out there. So get your safety blanket right away and let's begin. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Meet the Gentlemen. Know about their origin. The Gentlemen are a group of bizarre, savage, demonic figures that appeared in the role of antagonists in the widely known episode Hush of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The name of the episode quietly suggests the unique characteristic of these figures. They are masters of silence. This bunch of gentlemen were bald, human-like figures who never spoke. Their attire consisted of black suits like the ones during the Victorian times. They carried scalpels in their satchels. These scalpels served as their tools to remove the 7 hearts. That too, in complete silence. The gentlemen carried out their operations with the help of footmen wrapped in straight coats. The foot soldiers had a terrifying appearance. These foot doctors carried out the work of kidnapping the victims. They held the victims down while the gentlemen conducted their surgery. But where did these gentlemen suddenly come from? Follow us to find out. The gentlemen have their origins in different fairy tales. They traverse lands collecting organs, hearts to be more specific. This act makes them stronger and helps them to stay alive. These gentlemen are immune to almost any kind of attack, save one thing, and that is the scream of a human. In order to stay safe from this attack, the gentlemen use a magical box. They store the voices in this magical box. The gentlemen arrive at Sunnydale, a fictional city. This is right after Buffy experiences a scary daydream. The dream featured a little girl singing while holding a magical box. This dream could be cited as a preview of the sinister experience that Sunnydale is yet to experience. The dream scene altogether has an eerie feeling. As this series was a teenage sci-fi one that dated in the 90s, this scene showcases how this show was underrated in the horror genre. Can't even shout, can't even cry, the gentlemen are coming by. Looking in windows, knocking on doors, they need to take 7 and they might take yours. Can't call to mom, can't say a word, you're gonna die screaming, but you won't be heard. Right after the dream, Buffy joins her friend Giles and shares her dream with him. After a thorough reading and endless searching sprees, they both found out about the gentleman's origins. What role did the gentlemen play in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It doesn't matter if you've seen this episode as a kid or as an adult. Once you see them, you can't really forget them. The Gentlemen. That's exactly how Joss Whedon had planned in this episode. The Gentlemen played a brief but a very significant role in this episode. These creatures challenged the strengths and beliefs of Buffy and her mates. At large, these Gentlemen figures also helped develop the narrative of the episode and make it outstanding. The inclusion of the Gentlemen allows Whedon to show his innovative storytelling abilities. The basic role by the Gentlemen is to offer a sequence of horrific silence. They also aid in digging deeper into the themes of communication. By robbing the population of their voices, the gentlemen robbed them of their power to communicate. Without the power of their voices, the characters try to evolve to their present situation. They learn how to adapt and fight back against the evil. This highlighted the supremacy of nonverbal interactions. Moreover, the act of stealing the voices of the inhabitants of Sunnydale is one of the weirdest acts. The silence that follows helps to showcase how the inhabitants become helpless without their verbal capability. Silence gets to the ears of the residents, only adding to the existing fear. The gentlemen in this show serve the purpose of throwing light on the human ties and the ability to come face to face with one's own fear. The gentlemen are not just mere villains in this show, but they are what drive the narrative forward. The silence of these characters awes the audience as the story can be woven only through facial expression, without any dialogue delivery. Silence that is deafening, a peep into the gentleman's design, goals, abilities, and personality. After a detailed talk on the role of the gentleman in this episode, it's time to find out the design, goals, and specific abilities of these creatures. In this segment, we will also explore the overall personality of the gentleman. So without wasting any more minutes, let's carry on. Design. There's something simple yet horrific about the way the director Joss Whedon presented them to his audience. This can be observed from the appearance, clothing, and movement of the gentleman. The film Nosferatu served as a major influence in the creation of the gentleman. Joss Whedon very artistically picked up and molded the look of the gentleman character. In the classic movie, without dialogue, the art is mastered by the facial gestures of Count Orlok. It's from this movie that Whedon found his true inspiration. He dressed his gentleman just like Count Orlok. The movements of these gentleman creatures show a close resemblance to that of Count Orlok in the movie Nosferatu. Appearance. With pale-looking skin, heads bare and hollow eyes, and an ever-grinning visage, these gentlemen are nothing short of a sinister image. As mentioned in the narrative, the clothes of these creatures are in sharp contrast to those of the contemporary population of Sunnydale. The floating movement, done splendidly by the mime artists, such as Doug Jones, makes these characters seem even more sinister. This movement is a superb way to blend grace and horror. This is in contrast to the other villains. As opposed to other villains who take to gore, cruelty, and outbursts, the gentlemen can scare you to death with their ever-present smile and silence. Goals. The one goal that the gentlemen have is to collect 7 human hearts. This practice shall help the gentlemen to sustain their lives. They kill any human who would get in their way. The gentlemen even applauded their fellow being after they succeeded in their operation. They're aided by demonic foot soldiers who are dressed in straitjackets. The gentlemen were successful in collecting 5 out of the 7 hearts that they needed. But unfortunately, they were outdone by the group led by Buffy. Abilities. We now move ahead with the abilities that help these gentlemen to get closer to their aim. It's gonna get gruesome, so all we can say is keep the lights on and get your favorite ice cream to help you stay calm. Sneakiness. The gentlemen traverse and use their locomotive ability sneakily. They don't really walk, but glide, so the victims are left unaware of their arrival. Along with the superpower of stealing voices, they can move from homes and wander on the streets quietly. This sneaky ability helps them to convert any alley into a deadly corner. With the magical box taking away voices, no one can warn the others about the probable attack. This is how these creatures use silence as a weapon. All this while, we've associated silence with calm, peace, and tranquility. But the gentleman appeared with a fresh, new meaning to silence, and it's quite scary. Levitation. Supernatural beings have powers that are quite surprising to the eyes of a normal human being. If you're a fan of the ghost movies and series that air on television, then the sights of these beings levitating is not something new. But with a gentleman greeting you with their levitation power, it would scare you out of your wits. Rather than running behind their victims, these gentlemen float in the air. This levitating ability enables them to move gracefully. Their hand gestures while moving about are a sight. They use soft patterns of fingers moving as they enter the building. The gentlemen use this peculiar power to navigate and move smoothly over any hurdle. They can easily move through hallways and sneak through any window. What an amusing yet scary way to locate your target. There's even a scene that depicts the arrival and glare of the gentleman at the window. The viewer was taken aback by this view. The silent movement of the gentleman gives them the appearance of apparitions. This makes them impossible to track and trap. This power not only deepens their invincibility, but also heightens the fear in the person preyed upon by the gentleman. Sense manipulation. The gentlemen are masters in stealing the voices of the folks in Sunnydale. This is done with the help of the gentleman's box. This box is brought by these men like figures from hell. Before attacking the victims, the gentlemen had robbed the entire suburb of Sunnydale of their voices, rendering them helpless. By stealing the residents' voices, the gentleman makes the folks vulnerable to the attacks. They take away the very sense that could caution them against approaching danger. Cannot be demolished by weapons. After a thorough run of the bizarre abilities of the gentleman, if you think we're done, you are wrong. There is more to it. To add another feather to the cap, These gentlemen cannot be killed with the use of any weapons. Blades, guns, and any other deadly arms fail to demolish these creatures. They're left with no sign of pain or show any wounded marks even after Buffy uses her Slayer strength technique. It's evident that these creatures cannot be defeated by the use of muscle or bone power. The appearance of the gentleman is proof that some horror figures cannot be killed by the use of physical power, but with humanity. While Whedon and his crew have gone to the depths of this character of Count Orlok to come up with a fascinating series, the Gentleman and Count Orlok are not the same personalities. Whedon places immense importance on this character to get his gentlemen shaped into the sinister image that they are, smiling but evil. At the end of the episode Hush, Buffy is finally victorious in destroying the box. After she regains her voice, she gives a chilling scream, resulting in the end of the ever-smiling gentleman. Marvellous verdict. The gentlemen aren't just villains out on the spree to kill people. They acquire their objective simply by using silence. The ever-smiling face, without any sound of laughter, is terrifying at first thought. When attacked by monsters, we expect sounds to tear out our earbuds. But with the advent of the gentleman, things grow abnormally quiet. Right from the history of origin of these gentlemen to the supernatural powers that they possess, it's been quite a ride. The gentlemen in the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer show how quiet can turn deafening and even end up being the reason for deaths. With that, we'd like to take your leave. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.